And it's an interesting time. 600 issues now of Spider-Man. Did you ever think when you co-created Spider-Man that we'd be at this point with this character?
Oh, I never thought that far ahead. When we started Spider-Man and all our strips, the only thing that was on my mind was, I hope people will like it, I hope it'll sell, I hope it'll continue to sell so I can keep paying the rent and I won't lose my job. I mean, nobody ever thought in those days one day it would be a cartoon or it would be in the movies or someday at a big convention people would be interrogating us and interviewing us about it. We had no idea. The best we could hope for, once in a while, a few years later, some local radio show would want me for a guest for a couple of minutes just to talk about the strip, and we felt we had arrived.
Well, it's amazing because you took Marvel as a small publishing house and really championed them becoming this large multimedia company, and now they're churning out movies every year. And it's become this behemoth, of course, and you are so recognized as part of that whole process. I mean, it must be overwhelming.
It is. Well, it's at least whelming. But incidentally, you know, whelm means the same as overwhelm.
It does?
I looked it up in the dictionary. So if ever you want to save time, you could say, man, I am whelmed, and it means the same thing. But to get back to whatever the hell the question was.
Oh, something about how big Marvel has become.
Well, Marvel is a giant, you're right, and most of it seems to be based on so many of the stories that I had a hand in and that I co-created, and of course it's a very gratifying feeling.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now you're working on this incredible new project launched today, Time Jumper. Tell us about this project because it's really innovative, a digital comic book experience, and I was wondering how the comic book genre would take off in a digital realm. Explain how this is working for you.
Well, this has been an exciting time for me. I had this idea for a time travel story, a series, and we have a deal with Disney, my company, POW Entertainment, where anything that I create has to be submitted to Disney first. If they want to do it, that's cool. If they don't want to do it, then I'm free to sell it anywhere else. So I brought the Time Jumper concept to Disney, and they loved it. And they said, you know what we'll do? We're going to do it as a digital strip. It was their idea to do it so it'll be on your iPhone, over the internet. Something new that hasn't been done before. Something new in the sense that it's more than a comic strip, because you're going to hear the voices, there's going to be music, there's going to be special effects, but it's going to move, but it still isn't animation. It's a cross between a regular comic book, or it's a step between a regular comic book and animation. And I think it's a very daring project, and the way they've done it, it's turning out great. And the people who've seen it so far seem to love it. And I've got my fingers crossed that it's going to start a whole new thing. And it could lead, if it's as successful as we hope, it could lead to a DVD or a TV series or a movie, certainly to publishing. There are so many ways it can grow. And I think Time Jumper is not the first. I'm sure Disney will do a number of others, and other people will start coming in too. And eventually, you'll have comic books, you'll have mobile comics, and you'll have animation, and it'll be one of those three.
That's great. Now, looking at it, you've been, of course, going back to, I think it was issue 10 of Fantastic Four, where you had your first appearance, and I have that issue, where you played yourself in the comic, which was one of your first cameos.
Did I do a good job of it?
You did a good job. You were pretty remarkable as yourself. You've had all these great cameos, small little appearances in some of these Marvel films. Iron Man 2, I understand, you're playing Larry King?
Well, it's the funniest thing. They wanted me to put on Larry King suspenders and put on kind of horn-rimmed glasses and say to Tony Stark, why don't you get on my show, or some line like that, I forget. And I don't quite know why they wanted me to do that. But I'm like a robot. I mean, whatever they tell me to do, I did. So I did the line. I can't wait to see how it's going to tie in with the movie, how it's going to work out.
Well, they had you playing Hugh Hefner before.
Well, a guy who was mistaken for Hugh Hefner.
Right.
Yeah. I hope Hef got a good kick out of that.
And finally, going forward, where some of the comic book genre, as you see it progressing. I mean, obviously, what you're doing in the digital realm is really taking things to the forefront. Where do you see paper comic books going in the near future?
Oh, I don't think they'll go anywhere. I don't think they have to go anywhere. I think there will be paper comic books for as long as people read things.
Yeah.
There's something nice about a paper comic book. It feels good in your hand. It's light. You can kind of fold it and put it in your pocket. You can share it with a friend, and you can save them and collect them. They don't take up that much room. And it's a nice way to read a story quickly. The type of thing we're doing now with Time Jumper,
right.
That's something else entirely. You can only see it on a cell phone or on a screen because of the movement. You
right.
can't have a paper periodical move. And so there'll always be a place, I think, for comic books. It's not as though these are going to supplant comic books.
Yeah. And finally, just one general comment about Comic-Con. How important is it for you to come here and be? These are your people. These are the people. In fact, they go crazy for the stuff that you've created. What is it like to come here and see all these fans?
It feels wonderful. My only problem is, I would love to walk around the floor and see all the exhibits and talk to old friends and so forth. I can't do it because people recognize me. It's not that they care that much about me, but they think, I got to get his picture. I got to get his autograph. Yeah. So I have to stop and do all of that. So consequently, I have to kind of go around where nobody will see me, and there are underground passages here that it's like a mystery movie, So that bothers me a little, but otherwise it is great. I love being on the panels. I love meeting old friends. I love the whole feeling and spirit of the Comic-Con. And I remember when this all started, it was all kids, occasionally accompanied by their parents. Now it's all parents who occasionally have to bring the kid because they can't leave him home.
That's wonderful.